Was anybody else excited to not see Paige and Chris this episode? I know I was. They ain't had nothing to give us no way. They don't even live together. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Being Simone Iman. I am Simone Iman, and if this is your first time, I do a little bit of everything, but specifically television show reviews. I haul products, I do shopping hauls, I give a little advice on health and fitness. This is my personal diary, so if those are things that you're interested in, or you just like my vibe because I'm so vibey, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you know anytime I upload a video. Today we're talking about Married at First Sight season 12. I believe this is episode 14, and they are 2 weeks out from decision day, so they're doing a lot of therapy. And I'm here for it, y'all. This episode was full of gems. My notes are so lengthy, but I'm gonna try to keep this video as short as possible but hit all the hot spots. Okay, follow me. Eric and Virginia might be my least favorite couple, and I do not want Virginia to take it personal because it's not necessarily about her. Haley is my least favorite wife, but Eric is so hard to get along with, and the fact that he has Virginia as his partner and she's so easygoing is a gem. Okay, they went to his childhood home and it's very southern, old, traditional, modern, but woodsy kind of, you know, everything is wood in the house, made out of wood. It was a nice home, if to say nothing else. His parents were not there. He showed her childhood pictures and his medals from the military, and she compared them to Boy Scout medals, and he was bothered. I think that he wants her to take life and everything about life so seriously, and she doesn't, and that he doesn't like that. He wants a super stiff conservative woman in public, and then like the slutty bedtime girl. She's giving slutty bedtime, but she's not giving super conservative, pent up wifey vibes. Okay, he starts talking about how family is important, and she starts crying because he hasn't made, you know, any effort to connect with her family. And I called that out in the last episode when her sister and her boys came over. He was not inviting, he was not warm, he seemed bothered, like he didn't have time for it. I didn't like his vibe with her sister. They're looking at old childhood photos or like younger photos of him, and in the blogs they say that Eric had a rhinoplasty because his nose was like big. He had an African American nose and he got a nose job. She says that, you know, she's crying, like I said, about him not putting in effort with her family and that she values him so much. And she's like, you know, I make an effort. I'm in constant contact with his sister-in-law. I'm always in contact with his mom, and he's just not reciprocating. And that's because he wants her to meet his standard with no accountability for her standard. Like, he feel like he don't have to do much, but there's so many things about Virginia that he wants to change, and I hate it. He eventually calls her dad, and he says that he didn't understand how much they meant to her. How not? You know, there are instances where people aren't closely connected to their family, but if this girl is telling you she talks about her family enough for me on the other side of the TV screen to realize that her family is important to her. So I just thought that was some weird commentary to have. He calls her dad on FaceTime, and her dad is basically like, no, it's all good. He's like, yeah, I was trying to focus on us and getting our relationship stronger. And her dad is like, I understand, but her dad is super easygoing with him, in my opinion, because they're MAGA brothers. Okay, they have that like bond, that similar bond. We need to figure out what it was on January 6th. They're showing his hands holding that phone, y'all. His nail beds are nasty. He says he's proud to have him as a son-in-law, and of course Eric eats that all up. But when he starts talking about what a good marriage should look like, he lost him. And I was glad, because Virginia has told him that, Dr. Pepper has told him that, her dad has told him that there are different ways to have a good marriage. Every marriage just doesn't have to look the same. They didn't go play basketball with Virginia, and Virginia is a whole hooper out here, and I was here for it. I like to see that part of her childhood. It looked like something When I was a child, my sport of choice was volleyball. It saved my life, you guys. I had a lot of traumatic things going on with me when I was younger, and that was my outlet, being able to play volleyball. So I love that for her. You know, that was something where she felt safe. You know, her parents really dropped the ball going on about their lives, but y'all still have this underage child in grade school that nobody's even making an effort to just show up for. Like, she's on her basketball team on her senior night, and her siblings have to walk out there with her. They talked to Dr. Pepper. Oh, no. Before they talked to Dr. Pepper at this point, after they finished playing basketball, he tells her that he wants her to need him, and she doesn't. And he has a problem with it. Why can't... And I feel like that's first steps in a relationship. I just want to like you. Just let me want you. I don't have to need you. Those are those archaic ideas of what women are to men. And she's a millennial. She's beyond that. She's not stuck in this archaic tradition of marriage and male role and female roles in relationships. She's not into that. It's a huge mixed match, y'all. I'm so country. Mixed match for me in their relationship. Virginia meets with his sister-in-law, and at first I thought that was like one of her sorority sisters, but she's his sister-in-law. And as she starts to talk, she's very buttoned up and conservative, very similar to his mom. Her sister-in-law already knows that they're gonna have a problem because she likes to go out with her friends, and he wants to trump everybody in her life and be her priority, which I think is too soon for that. A lot of these relationships, the men and the wives are expecting so much to change about their significant other way too soon. I don't understand it. Then they meet with Dr. Pepper, and they lying, and Dr. Pepper peeps it. She's like, tell me what's really going on. They try to gloss over the things that are plaguing their relationship, and Dr. Pepper is like, no, you know, y'all have serious issues. Let's talk about them. And Virginia's issue is that he wants to define her marriage as a standard marriage, and she's not with that. When Dr. Pepper leaves, he grabs her and picks her up. She looks so bothered by that. Like, she really didn't like that. And then they bicker over the fact that he wants a standard marriage, and that his beliefs, like, he's stuck in his beliefs. Like, he might as well be a 75-year-old man when it comes to what he believes, and that's a turnoff. And decision day is looming, and I hope Virginia make the best decision. And honestly, I don't even think Virginia has that much caught up in like going out with her friends or staying over her male friend's house. It's the fact that I just met this man and he already telling me what I can't do. That's like, it's a deal breaker for her. That's her ultimatum. How about that, Eric? And then there's my best friend Jacob and Haley. If y'all watch my other videos, y'all know I say Jacob is like my work best friend. I always gravitate towards those kind of guys. The middle-aged white guy, the IT geek who has limited personality with everyone else, but so much personality with me. So I take it personal, y'all. Haley's a mean girl. She's showing her true colors. They go to batting cages, and they, you know, say that Haley played softball coming up, and so she wants to do that with Jacob. And Jacob has on his cool, you know, Shaggy, it wasn't me 1998 shades. And he ain't hitting out one ball. Haley is very competitive, but she also, Dr. Pepper said this before, she literally picks him apart at the scene. Now, he did wear jeans and dress shoes, child, but if that's his thing, that's his thing. Y'all can work on his style later. Make yourself more likable, Haley. Stop being so abrasive to him, and every time she gets an opportunity to criticize him, she thinks because she masks it in a little giggle and a smile that it's not offensive and mean, but it is. Nobody wants to constantly have to defend themselves, their personalities, their choice in dress with someone they, especially we just met. Like, stall off on the criticism. She talks to him about, you know, how active her childhood was, all the activities she did, and how she was basically like a really strong-willed child. And he calls her a diva. And he's an old man, and he needs to learn better than that. Women can be strong-willed without being divas. We don't call strong-willed little boys divas, do we? We just say, oh, he's really headstrong, you know? We gotta get over that. And I think that's what the experts were trying to do with matching these younger women with these older men, trying to like bring them into the new millennium and kind of, you know, educate them and get them out of those archaic beliefs, but it's backfiring. It's damn sure backfiring. Jacob picks Putt-Putt, which I thought was super cute, but he still got his dress shoes on. And then he picks code names. You know, he's just super quirky. And then he shows her a picture of him at a golf event from work, and he has on cut off shorts, y'all, but he got the quads of Hercules. That man has a nice body. What he lacks in personality, he have in body, yada 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 yada. But she still seems so irritated with what he chooses to wear. They didn't fire you? No, because they know how to take a joke. Like, get over it. She's irritated slightly also because he's finally kicking her ass in something. And then we see the scene where they write letters to their younger selves, and again she picks him apart. He didn't write enough. He wants her to she wants him to be a reflection of her. This man almost 50 years old. That ain't gonna happen. Then he asks the question, what would you tell yourself the day before we got married? And she was very like superficial. You don't have any idea what you're up against or what you're coming to. But his shit was very substantial, significant. He bought her an almost $1,000 bracelet, and she's never worn it, never had in her possession. Okay, they saved that till episode 14, y'all. What? That is disrespectful, and she needs to own it. Instead of her owning it, she's trying to make it seem like he's being unreasonable. He is not. If I gifted someone something like that and they never wore it, I would be offended. Troy bought me a pair of Tory Burch slippers, baby, and I ain't wear them for like 2 or 3 months. He was waiting at the door, okay? And they cost $200. Like, if I buy you something and I care about the gift, come on, humor me a little bit. And like he said, he didn't even feel like she had to necessarily wear it. But the fact that you don't even have it in your possession says a lot. And she has taken no accountability for how offensive that is to him. She says it didn't even cross her mind. Like, she just be nailing the nails in the coffin on this marriage, and she don't even realize it. When Dr. Pepper comes to talk to them about it, Dr. Pepper calls her on it, and she's offended. Like, she can't be called out on her shit. Like, she's perfect. That shit is offensive. And she's comparing his $800 bracelet to her $20 hat. He was so over her, y'all. It looked like he was taking his own pulse while he was sitting down on that couch. Like, the marriage is over. I've given it up for the marriage. His body language, he seemed so defeated. When Dr. Pepper came in, she was like, you look so sad. And it's literally like his internal feelings manifesting in his body language and his overall temperament. The marriage is over. I don't want Jacob to marry Haley because she's ridiculous. Then she lies. Y'all peep them lies. She lies to her mother and tells her mother that he wants the bracelet back. Show me the beautiful bean footage where Jacob asks for her to return it to him. How do you make up shit about people to slander them? You are taking no accountability for the fact that you've been like nasty to him. You pick him apart, you make him feel this big, you shut him out, you sleep in another room, you talk shit about him constantly. Like, Haley got to go. I don't want her for my best friend, y'all. She got to go. Y'all, when they showed Brianna at the dance studio, I was like, oh my God, please don't try to get Vince in the dance. This did not work out well last time. But Brianna says that she was a dancer coming up and she regrets stopping dance to pursue something that would make her more money. And I feel her. Like, when you do things as a child, people, especially like in the 90s, early 2000s, people will tell you, don't do that, don't invest in that, you're not gonna make no money with that. My mom would never let me participate in like band. My mom despised the fact that I was an athlete because she felt like there was no future in it. I ended up getting a full volleyball scholarship to college. Like, never let what other people's thoughts are of your passions deter your dreams. Never. She tells him that she grew up really insecure because she was dark-skinned and she felt inadequate on the inside. And then right around, it's the butterfly effect. I feel like around 15, 16, 17 years old, once you start to look more like a woman, you get more rooted in your femininity. If femininity is a part of your personality, then you start to see, wait a minute, bro, I'm popping, and the boys like it. Okay, so I love the fact that she felt open enough and safe enough with him to tell him those things, and he was very, you know, affirming with her, and he appreciated her opening up to him, and I just thought that was a beautiful scene. They also talked about, you know, she's keeping the door open and talking about children while being afraid. My biggest thing is, Brianna, we all afraid to have kids, especially if you're a black woman, because the mortality rate for black women in having children and giving birth is high. It's higher than anybody else in this country, so I get it. But like he said, you know, they're gonna have to do their research. If she needs to get with a specialist, like, she wants to have children and he wants to have children. Now he talking about 3. Brianna is like a 1 or maybe a 2, depending on how this first pregnancy goes. So they're gonna have to compromise on that. Compromise is a big part of their focus when they talk to Dr. Pepper as well. You know, Brianna, with him sleeping in, like, sis, you gotta give some, and he don't have to sit up and eat breakfast with you every morning. I feel like they're in that honeymoon phase of the relationship where she just wants to be all up under him all the time. So every phase of the day that they can experience together, that's what she wants. But he tired. And he feels convicted about being tired because he doesn't want to seem like a lazy man. And she's so hardworking and she makes so much money. And, you know, that kind of puts it's not threatening, but it's challenging to his manhood, you know. I don't know. But I think Brianna will get over it. He just feels judged a little bit because he wants to sleep in. And I get that. When I was pregnant, I slept a lot and I feel bad about it. So I forgive yourself, Vinny. And I always tell people about the nap ministry. Taking naps is a form of resistance. Our ancestors were never able to take naps. Take a nap for your ancestor, honey. His reaction to her has changed a lot. I noticed that. Whereas before she would say things, he would get offended, he'd laugh. And I love that he learned that lesson early on. And he didn't just learn the lesson, he changed the behavior. They talk about kids and adoption, and, you know, a lot of young people, we don't be thinking about adoption. Adoption never crossed my mind when I began my childbearing phase of life. But it's something to consider. I feel like if they did adopt, they would at least want to have one child that came from them. And then they go eat Dominican food and it looks so good. And he's talking about his upbringing. I went to the DR like 2 years ago, and he's very correct. You're either super rich or you poor. You either got a whole block with a compound and an estate, or you work at the resorts. There's no in between in the airport. I think that has a lot of influence on his ideas about money and saving, because he came from bigger beginnings. And then he also talks about wanting to be a father because he knows, you know, what it felt like for him growing up without his father, and he never wants to repeat that cycle. I think that Brianna doesn't love him enough right now. And follow me here, not that she doesn't love him enough for any certain standard. She will be bending over backwards to give that man a child once their love matures. Once they really fall into love with one another, they go through a few things, they accomplish some things together, there will be no question that Brianna will be ready, just busting it wide open to have a baby. I promise you. Promise. And then Clara and Ryan. Y'all, Ryan annoying. Because I feel like this entire season we've only seen Ryan's representative. Who is Ryan, y'all? Who is he? It's always like, well, what do you think about? What are your thoughts on? Like, it's super interview presentation mode. He's like that with her parents, with Dr. Pepper and them. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. He goes to her mom's house, and her mom and her have a very similar personality. Very giggly, very bubbly, very friendly. I just want Ryan to relax. Like, Ryan need a drink. He need a Fo Loco, child. He just needs something to really, like, loosen him up a little bit. It's too stuffy. It's way too stuffy. He is really insistent that he wants to raise his children in the church. I think more than just that being a personal conviction of his, he knows that's what his parents expect. Child, if his parents live anywhere close to Atlanta, Georgia, they better be in church every Sunday. her mom says that before she had kids, she wasn't going to church every week, so that had a real impact on her child rearing, because she wanted her children to know how important faith was and for them to have that grounding in their life. And so he was kind of like, ooh, well, I'm hoping that Clara will, maybe not, baby, maybe not. Clara have her own personal experience with religion, and it's not her mother's. They go to her parents together. Her little outfit was the cutest. And they make pizza. And they start talking about her childhood. She said her mama had made her, her mama broke her burnt copy of Confessions. Girl, you don't break Confessions, child. You don't. Because these are my confessions. Just when I, Superstar, this is for you. You, my number one. Girl, you don't do that. She said they made her unanimous on MySpace. Anonymous. It's cool. It's cool. I be fucking up sometimes too. And then they meet with Dr. Pepper to talk about their unanswered questions. And here they go. They all lie. Like everything is hunky-dory and shit sweet. And she says that she has asked for, you know, someone to take it slow and to not be engaged in sexual activity so soon in the relationship. Well, what do you know? The more you know. What people say, be careful what you ask for, because now you're sexually frustrated. The whole time she's talking though, I'm just want to like go through the screen and grab my girl and say, you are worthy. Because she seems like she is trying to meet his standard in so many ways. And she is putting herself, her feelings, her needs on the back burner, because she has this conviction of like being, and follow me, you know, wanting to have sex, promiscuity, it gives slutty vibes. Him holding out makes him seem like a perfect gentleman, while behind closed doors, he letting her give him sloppy toppy. He ain't no better than you. He worse, because he being sneaky about it. Little Christian sneaky boy, you know. It's not you, sis. It's him. Y'all married. You know, whether y'all known each other 2 years or 2 weeks, you guys are married. In that Bible that he's so concerned about them kids reading, y'all are meeting all the standards, okay? The trivial, we haven't known each other, he's waiting for it to be right. Like she said, being in a relationship with somebody this long, they can't tell you they love you. I got love for you, but they can't say they love you. They can't consummate your marriage. How into you is he? Because it's given not much, okay? It's very much so given not much. I love the letter she wrote to her younger self. I feel like it was a lot of Ryan shade in it. And then when he reads his letter, he's basically perfect. Y'all, Ryan is giving us representative. That is not who he truly is. And I don't like that she never says what she really feels to him. She reserves it for her interview talking head piece on the camera. She reserves it for them gals when they drinking wine. And for the experts, she needs to tell him how she really feels. Was anybody else excited to not see Paige and Chris this episode? I know I was. They ain't had nothing to give us nowhere. They didn't live together. Anyway, it was a good episode. Very insightful. Virginia girl, run. Jacob, my boy, run. Clara, you might be able to work with him if he ever shows up as his true self. And Bri and Vince gonna sail off into the sunset. Thank you guys for watching my YouTube video about Married at First Sight. Be sure to like, subscribe, drop down in the comments, let me know what y'all thought about this episode, and I'll see you next week. I think we only have 2 episodes left, you guys.